The 401k and the IRA are both the gold standard for long-term investing. Both are vital to keeping yourself financially stable in retirement. Today, we learn more about a technique that can make both these plans even more profitable and less taxing in the future. Robin learns how with the expert at Safe Harbor.
I am happy to be joined once again by Cory Sickles, president of Safe Harbor Retirement Group. Hi, Cory.
How are you, Robin?
I'm good, and I'm happy you're talking about this because I feel like a lot of people don't know the difference, first and foremost. And we're talking about an IRA and a Roth. And we hear that word Roth kind of thrown around out there, but maybe haven't looked into it. So lay it out for us. What's the difference?
You know, Robin, it's really a good time to talk about it right now because, it's hard to believe this, but, tax time's coming up. So a lot of people might be putting money into these IRAs, the traditional IRA or to a Roth. It is a little funny because it's normally April, but, July 15th is coming up here. But the big difference here is an IRA, a traditional IRA, is basically you're putting in before tax dollars, which basically means any money you put in there potentially has the ability not to be taxed, and you're going to be, you're going to pay tax later. A Roth IRA is after tax money, which means when you put money in there, there's no tax deduction today. But the most important thing is it does grow tax-free until you start taking the withdrawals out. Now, just, for 2020 coming up here, or even for 2019 tax returns, you can put in $6,000, into a traditional or to a Roth. And if you're over 50, then you have you actually can put in an additional $1,000 in.
Okay, yeah, that's big. And so when you talk about the Roth and being kind of that tax-free option as it grows, can anyone utilize that? Is there kind of a limit or certain qualifications for somebody who can contribute to either a traditional or a Roth?
Well, when you look at a traditional, first of all, you can put any money in there that you want to. There's no, you can make as much money as you want into traditional. However, the only caveat I'll say on the traditional side of it is if you are contributing to a 401k or a 403b or, thrift savings plan, for example, at your, where you work, then that might not actually be deducted. So it's something you have to really talk to your CPA about. Now, on a Roth IRA, the big part there is, yes, if you do make too much money, then again, you might not be able to actually contribute to a Roth as well.
Okay, Cory, there are kind of some terms that we hear in relation to this as well. A qualified distribution, the first. What is that?
Well, really what we're talking about is when can you take money out of these accounts? And the easiest way to think about it is you have to be at least 59 and a half to be able to take money, out of it without any types of penalties. However, there's a few caveats. If you're going to use that money for like a first-time homeowner, you can get out of that. If you're on disability, you can also waive the 10% penalty. Now, one of the things I'll also say this year is with the Secure Act that took place in December of this year, you're actually allowed to take money out of your traditional IRA or your 401k this year without any type of penalty, just due to the pandemic and all the economic consequences, taking place right now.
The other one we hear is RMDs, required minimum distribution. So how does that relate to an IRA? Is it the same?
Well, the required minimum distributions only pertain really to the traditional IRAs. And one of the things the Secure Act did, or one of the Secure Act changed last year too, is now it used to be 70 and a half, where you had to start taking money out of your traditional IRA, whether you wanted to or not, because they basically want you to be able to start paying the taxes. But now they've actually moved that to age 72. Again, this year in 2020, another nice thing, if you don't need the money, you don't have to take any money out of it due to the pandemic. And one reason why is because it's based upon your December 31st account balance. Well, we know what the market actually experienced at the beginning of this year. So one of the things they wanted to be able to do was, if you didn't need to take it out, it also would give you more time for your account to grow. So you don't have to take any RMDs now until 2021. And with a Roth IRA, you're never required to take any money out.
All right, Cory, just, the last 5 minutes, seeing how much is kind of involved, the changes that have come into play in 2019, beginning of 2020. This is something you probably do want to sit down and talk to a financial advisor like yourself and kind of go through your options. Your meetings are always complimentary. So if somebody's out there, they want to get in touch with you, safeharboroh.com is a website to start on. Obviously, a lot of questions to go through when it comes to these IRAs. So, Cory, thanks again for being with us and kind of shedding some light on these.
Thank you, Robin.